Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Sims Out on Their Own. This is Jaime's series, in a sense, and we will meet Jaime's two new roommates and tell you a little bit of their backstory. But Jaime is arriving here at 3:52 a.m. Guys, so that's really early. So both of his roommates are already sleeping. So I think Jaime is going to do the nice thing and kind of make them some breakfast for in the morning. Just some basic breakfast would do. He's going to make some scrambled eggs and bacon for them. That'll be quite nice, like, look, I'm your new roommate type of thing. I know obviously they know about him and him moving in. But they don't know. It's always good to make a good first reputation, in a sense. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, so this is our new house, or their house anyways. So this is the front door here. This is like your front porch area here. You walk in and you're in like a little like lounge living room area. To this side. And then to this side you have your dining room and kitchen area here, as well as a bathroom, which I don't know why Jaime's mixing in the bathroom, but he decided to do that anyways. And then we have roommate's room number 1 and Jaime's room. Now upstairs we have a bedroom as well and a bathroom, but the reason why this roommate gets this room was because this was originally his house. So he gets the biggest room, and then this is the ensuite deck upstairs as well, with the DJ booth already broken because of the rain. And then they have a deck outside as well, and a pretty decent yard and all that surrounding. It's a pretty decently nice home. Really in the middle of nowhere, but, I mean, I guess if you're going to have a house, that's what's mostly about, this series is going to be about, you're going to need something like that. But anyways, so Jaime has already made his breakfast for everybody. Let's check the quality for it. Oh, okay, it's excellent, so that's great. And these guys should be getting up soon, but Jaime's going to eat some breakfast because it's been a long day for him real fast. Meanwhile, his two roommates are still sleeping. Once they get up, I'll actually start calling them by their real names. You guys might have already seen my Facebook post where I did reveal their names. But I'll explain their backstories in a little bit. But right now, Jaime is just going to go ahead and he is going to go look and see if he could potentially find some type of job that really suits him. He hasn't really found a job yet, but he's been looking. And this is his first official night here. He's been staying at a hotel recently, and here's his first official night here. So, for Jaime, I don't know. I think Jaime is a little bit different type of sim. I don't really see him as like an athletic sim. I don't really see him into like being a business sim or anything like that. So this is where it really comes hard to choose what type of like job he would have. And I'm kind of thinking maybe just because I know Travis and Catherine aren't really together, anymore, but he does kind of look up Travis as like a father figure in his life. And Travis was a tech guru, so maybe going down that route would be a potential, as well as a writer, I think. But for now, I'm actually going to go ahead and just say he is still thinking about it, and which is fine. And for now, he's just going to make sure that things around the house remain cleaned and all that. Now, his roommates should be waking up very soon because they've been sleeping for like hours now. Okay, so I actually woke up one of them because he desperately has to use the restroom. Plus, Jamie's going to meet him once he's done using the restroom. Oops, wrong button. Okay, so now the first of the roommates that he's going to be meeting is Max. So Max, this is Max. Max has kind of always been like his culture has always kind of been like really hands-on and all that. So that's why you've just seen what he did. And that's just his culture, so Jamie, in a sense, respects that, I guess. But anyways, this is Max Kimball. So Max Kimball, a little bit of his backstory is he grew up a very privileged life. His family was always rich. He never really had to want for anything. But once both of his parents died in a house fire, when he was a teenager, he was forced to pretty much move out on his own because he was the only child, in which he bought this house. But he realized quickly that those assets that he had originally don't always hold up. And so he desperately needed help, and that's why he reached out and got some roommates. So here comes our second roommate, which is up here watching TV now. This is Casey Combs. So Casey Combs, his backstory is he's a former child star, which means he was a former kid star, and he was in many movies and all that growing up. But once he hit kind of like the teenage years, he kind of fell off the face of the earth, in a sense, in the limelight. So he neglected to pretty much continue with his Hollywood career. However, he's always dreamt of getting back into his Hollywood career now that he is an adult. So he will definitely be experiencing that more. So I think that's the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get him back in line to potentially getting that career back of becoming an actor. And then for Max's dream job, well, we don't really know because Max was always a privileged person, so he didn't really ever think he had to work. But now I think he's starting to realize that things aren't going to pretty much always come to you, or things aren't always going to be handed to you. You're going to need help, and that's why these guys here are here to help me, which can definitely cause for some so we're going to go ahead and check and see how or what his auditions he could do is. He kind of wants to be an actor. He don't really want to get into music. So I think the Salty Suds commercial would probably be the best one for him right now. And he has to get his charisma up to level 2. So why don't you go ahead and grab yourself some of the breakfast that Jamie made, and then we can go ahead and start getting to know each other, because you guys are definitely going to have to get to know each other now that you're all kind of living together. So now they're all kind of sitting together and explaining. Max is explaining the whole situation. He said obviously Casey was here first, so Casey already knows this. But there's only one main ground rule and that is that we all respect each other in this household, because this household is now all of ours. This house was given to me by my parents, so this house ultimately does belong to me, but I will be putting both of you guys as head of households as well, so you guys have says as well. So Max is doing the right thing in a sense by putting everybody on the list and having a say, and now these two are getting to know each other better, and Jamie's like, well, I kind of might have already known you before. I think I've seen you somewhere. And he said, yeah, I used to be a child star. I used to do a lot of commercials. My parents pushed me into it, but once I got into teen years, well, you know how they can be. I kind of got out of the limelight, which I didn't really realize that I really wanted to be in the limelight. So I'm an aspiring actor once again, and I'm hoping to get my fame back out there. So far, it seems as if Jamie's really getting along with both of his roommates, Casey as well as Max. He doesn't really know what to feel much about Max right now, because Max is kind of always just stayed to himself, Casey said. But he's really, when you get to know him better, he really is a nice guy. So, only time will tell. But obviously, I was kind of thinking Max would really like to potentially be a DJ. So maybe that's kind of like Max's secret thing, but he doesn't really like to do it around people because he's a little bit nervous of how they will react. Meanwhile, these two seem like they're really hitting it off. Casey and Jamie, that is. Or maybe it's Max just wants to be like a musician, like get into the music business and creating music. But it seems as if these guys are really like starting to know each other really well. And Jamie is really getting used to this household. I know he kind of arrived really early. And he's thinking, well, both of these guys have already got, in a sense, which from what he understands, have already got their lives put together and already want to do things. Well, what am I doing with my life? And that's really making him think, like, what should I do with my life? I don't have anything for them to even stem off of. He said, one thing I always have been passionate about is family, but I don't know how these guys would really feel about a family quite yet. And I don't know how I really feel about these guys, but it's really neat that Casey was an actor at one time. I would love to really get to know him better. That's Jamie's inner thoughts. Meanwhile, Casey, why don't you go ahead and start practicing your speech or all that, so that you can work on your charisma for your job. Jaime is going to go ahead and come upstairs and watch Max, and I think that's going to cause Max to kind of get a little bit of like uneasy, because he doesn't really understand, or he gets really nervous around like when people hear him. I think Max just like right away stops, because he's like he doesn't know what to think, and so he just right away neglects that he's just gonna go get a drink. And Jamie's like, well, you didn't have to stop, like, what's going on, dude? And he said, it's just, I don't really feel comfortable doing it around everybody else, because I always felt like I was judged for everything, because my parents were always so famous. Like, my father was a famous painter, and my mom was a famous actress, so it was always like, I was always in the limelight, even though I didn't want to be. And it seems like I was always judged about everything. And so I always constantly have that fear that as soon as someone sees me doing something I truly do care about, that I'm going to be judged for it. And Jamie's like, well, you really are good, dude. I mean, you should definitely try it out. I mean, I have a couple friends. I have a friend that's really into music. Matter of fact, he's actually my cousin. Maybe you could even work with him someday. I mean, I think you two would get along really well. You seem like a pretty nice guy now that I'm starting to understand who you are a little bit better. And Max is like, well, come on, dude, just be real. I haven't really been out there in quite some time. A lot of people just know me as the kid that pretty much took everything from his parents. Casey's over there working on his acting and etc. So, meanwhile, these guys were catching up a little bit, and Jamie's like, you know, these guys, they seem like they really could use someone that, in a sense, backs them up and supports them. Max and Casey both kind of have their little bit of side thing that I don't even know if Casey and Max know about each other. But I think Jamie thinks that this is his right spot. This is where he needs to be, because his purpose in life is to help people. So, what I might do, even though it's not really considerably a job, I might register him as like a, like, I forget what they're called, but they're like, if you guys know exactly what they're called, let me know in the comment section below. But they're like people that go around and they actually help people with stuff like support and all that. It's like a professional job. Like, I can't think of what they're actually called, but that's what I'm thinking of potentially doing for him. And then just kind of like every time he's here or whatever, or every time we log in, giving him like $100 or whatever each time. I think that'd be kind of like a neat thing. Like doing his own thing, sort of thing. But I don't really know exactly what it's called, so I can't really do it quite yet. But if you guys think that's a good idea, please let me know what the job title actually is. Again, it's like when you go around supporting people with like things that they need, like emotional support and all that, but not necessarily always with money, but always like out there to help people and all that. But there's a specific job. I have it in my head, but I can't think of what it is. And these two really seem to be getting along really well now. That I think Max has kind of opened up to him. Casey's still up here working on his acting. He's like, I have to really get this down. I have to get these words down because my audition's on Saturday and I don't want to mess it up. And guys, just so you know, I will be posting another one of these videos of Out in the World on Monday. So there will not be a Sims World episode this week. Again, there will not be a Sims World episode this week. It'll be Sims Out on Their Own again. I just want to kind of get this series, in a sense, based out and get them going, in a sense. So we will be back here again on Monday. So you guys won't have to worry about missing Casey's first audition or anything like that. And Casey's, you're up to 3 now, buddy, so you don't have to do no more. So anyways, it is getting around like the time that we had to end this first episode, but we did meet both of his new roommates, and his roommates already kind of know a little bit about Jaime because Jaime put it all on his profile and all that, and Max and him both chose Jaime, so they know a little bit about Jaime as well. So we met both Casey and Max in this episode. We seen the house. We've known a little bit of both of their backstories, and only time will tell where both of them go from here. But again, I'll see you guys on Monday for another episode of Sims Out on Their Own, which will be next Monday. Will only be replacing Sims World next Monday. So again, there will be no Sims World next week. It'll be Sims Out on Their Own. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.